In this video, we're going to talk about toxic plants. Yes, some plants can be toxic for our pets, cats and dogs. And this is nothing terrible, but you should be aware of it. Hello everyone, I'm Anna and I help you grow beautiful and healthy plants. Well, I have several cats. Now at this moment they're not living with me, they are with my mom. But even when I have them with me and I have a lot of plants, well, my cats do not really touch my plants. Well, actually, if the pot is big, they can try to pee or poop in it, but they don't really eat it. Okay, this is a disclaimer. But basically, yes, some plants can be a little bit toxic, but it also depends on several things. So first of all, let's talk about what you can do basically to still have the pets and your plants in one place, because I've seen for so many times that people try to get rid of their plants, not pets of course, but they try to get rid of their plants because they just adopted a cat or a dog. But you can have both basically. You should just know where to put them. Maybe just hang them from the ceiling, put them somewhere very high without access, without any other surface that cats can jump and be very close to them. So maybe try to avoid the situation by putting them in a separate room. You can just decide for yourself what will work for you, but still, if you like both, you should not deprive yourself of any of them, and you can have pets and plants in your place, because this is what brings us happiness, right? Just we need to know what to do. But of course you should be careful, and you should know that it really depends on which part of the plant your pet eats basically, and some plants can be very different. For example, the bird of paradise, the plant is a little bit toxic, but the flowers are very toxic. Or hippeastrum, the leaves are less toxic, but the bulb is very toxic. It also depends how much of it they will eat, and it also depends on the size of your pet. So it really matters if half of the leaf will be eaten by a smaller dog or big dog. So in any case, I think you should immediately go to the vet if you see that half of the leaf is gone or something is missing on your plant. It can be a flower, a stem, a leaf, a piece of bulb, I don't know, whatever. So be very careful, please. Be very attentive, and don't wait, because it can cause allergic reaction, for example, a rash on the skin of your pet, which maybe you will see, maybe you will not see, but it can also cause very significant digestion issues, and also the tongue can get swollen when they eat or bite the leaf, and of course this can cause problems with breathing. And if the tongue is swollen inside of the mouth or throat, this can be of course a huge issue. So always please run to the vet to save your pets. Well, let's go through the list, and of course there is a level of toxicity, but I'm not gonna tell you in any order. That will be basically whatever will come to my mind. You can research more to see, but again, you can have both, but just make sure that first of all, you're very careful and very attentive to your pets. First of all, pets, of course, and then decide where you put them so that you don't really make it very accessible for your pets. It also depends on the pets, because as I've already mentioned, my cats don't care about my pets. My pets don't care about my plants. They only care about the soil to make it their own toilet. But other than that, pets are different, and maybe yours really likes to chew on them. Basically, whatever you see behind me, all these ficuses are toxic, any part of it, and better avoid it, of course. And even when you cut to propagate them, you can see that there is this white juice, sap, coming out from the leaves or from the stems, and this can be even a little bit allergic for you. You can have even rash on your own skin. So whenever you propagate or repot them, work with these plants basically. Always wear gloves, but of course be careful for your pets. Then again, here I have, let me show you. This is also very toxic for plants. Basically, pothos, epipremnum, scindapsus, philodendron, they're all also toxic for plants. I know they're very interesting plants, we like the leaves and everything, but they can be toxic, they can be dangerous for your pets. That's why make sure that you put them somewhere away from your pets. Basically, you can even hang them from somewhere high and grow them in baskets, and they can be very beautifully hanging plants, not with this pole here. Also, behind me you see Monstera, this big Monstera deliciosa. I have also several Monsteras, Monstera albos, and they're also toxic for plants. I don't know why am I smiling, because it's actually bad. Okay. Well, they can also be toxic for our pets. The next on the list is peace lily. Doesn't matter which variety, it can be very toxic for our pets as well. Doesn't matter which part, the flower, the leaf, it can be toxic. So again, you need to know first of all your pets to see, if they're gonna try to eat, to bite your plants or not, and only then maybe grow them. If you know already that your pet likes to chew on some other plants, then maybe choose the plants that will not be toxic at all. And actually, please let me know if you would like to see a video about non-toxic plants, because this one is toxic plants. The next on the list is the zizi plant, the plant that everyone has. It's very common, it's in hotels, everywhere basically, in the banks, in the offices, everywhere, because it's the easiest actually plant to grow. It is such a low maintenance plant that grows in the shade everywhere. Everyone loves them, and I think all of us have them or had them, but this can also be toxic for plants. The next is one of my favorite plants, is snake plant, Sansevieria or Dracaena now, but it's basically a toxic plant, any variety. Also, Dracaenas as well can be toxic for our pets. Also, I think the very common plants that so many people have, aloe vera, can still be toxic for your pets, so be careful and again grow it in a place where they will not have access to it. Besides that, jade plant, of course, we love this crassula, we have these succulents, but no, they can also be toxic for pets, so be careful with them as well. Also, the next on the list is Syngonium. Again, any variety can be quite toxic for your pets. And along with Syngonium, I should mention also Aglaonema, because this is also very beautiful plant with different varieties and different variegations, pink and white and whatever, but all of them can be very toxic for the pets, not plants. I think that the plant that is more toxic than the ones that I mentioned is Dieffenbachia, and I must say I never grow it, even for myself, because I don't really like it whenever you touch a leaf and a little bit of sap just touches your skin. I always had this rash and I just don't like it somehow. I'm allergic to it, but basically yes, it can be also toxic for your pets, so be careful with it. And honestly, I would not recommend this plant somehow. Maybe it's my preference, maybe it's my personal opinion that I don't like this plant, but yeah, I don't like this plant. Then alocasias, yes, all of them, again, they can be toxic for pets, and I think the roots are even more toxic. Doesn't really matter, because normally pets would eat just the leaves or would bite the leaves, so try to avoid, even though it can be really pretty. I know in my area it's very hard to grow them anyway, so I don't have them, I don't like them, it can be toxic. Kalanchoe or Kalanchoe. Yes, this plant can also be toxic for your pets. Doesn't matter if it's the flowering variety or this mother of thousands, I think that's what it's called, that has, thousands of small plants growing on the leaves. So yes, that one is also toxic. I know some people use it even for kind of medical reasons, like aloe vera, but for our pets, they can be toxic. The next on the list is Schefflera. Again, this plant can be a little bit toxic, I think not that much as Dieffenbachia. There is basically different things, different components that are in the leaf, in the stems, that basically cause these problems with digestion or allergy or whatever it is. You can do your research and see about the level of toxicity, but I think even if it's just, a little bit toxic, still you should be already very careful with your plants growing next to your pets. All types of bulbs, and of course we grow so many hippeastrums, amaryllises, hyacinth, lilies, everything basically that has a bulb is toxic. I would say everything. I'm not sure if I'm right, but I think most of the bulbs are toxic. And of course, some of the bulbs are inside the soil and the pets do not really necessarily have direct access to them. They will need to dig the plant up to have access to the bulb and basically eat it. But still, I think it's still worth mentioning that the plants with bulbs can be toxic, and especially the bulb part, so be careful. And by the way, I will leave this one here in case you would like to consider. Then the next one is oleander, and this plant, of course, this is a bush or grows sometimes, sorry, grows also as a tree, but it is a little bit toxic. And of course, it's also not recommended if you grow oleander indoors, inside, because even if it's very beautiful and flowers, it's not even good for humans. So I think even without touching or eating, still, I think they recommend not to grow it indoors. And that's why you can see it grow outside in so many countries, but still try to avoid having it indoors if you have a pet. Okay, and then the next one is coleus, and this is of course a very beautiful plant that we like to grow on our patios, balconies, windowsills, everywhere in our gardens, because the colors are just amazing. Honestly, I don't know which plant has so many varieties, because the leaves can have 3, 4, 5 colors at the same time, and they are so vibrant, so diverse. And of course, we all want to have them, and they are very easy to grow and grow very fast, but they can be also toxic for your pets, so be careful with them as well. And maybe very last one on my list, of course, the list goes on and on and on, and you can search for more, but the last on my list is cyclamen. Cyclamen. Yes, cyclamen, which is a very beautiful plant that flowers in winter. However, it can be toxic for our pets as well. So again, you should not kind of destroy your plants or give away your plants just because you got a pet. But first, try, of course, to be very careful with it. Put in a place where your pet doesn't have access to it. If you see any part missing, or your pet behaving in an unusual way, it's better to go to the vet directly, not wasting time. And always, 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 please be very attentive to your pets. Stay passionate about plants. See you next time.